Good evening. Welcome to our soiree this evening. Call this one Songs for the Road. Maybe Songs for the Road Part 1. A few sort of autobiographical songs about places I've been and people I've met. Starting off, this one takes me right back to when I was very young. It's how I got interested in old things, by looking at old pennies and looking at the dates on them. Just called The Passage of Time. Sometimes I'm amazed how a memory takes me 3D and crystal clear, face to face, another time and place, distance is becoming near. It's me and my mother, look at us, rolling down the road on the number 7 bus now. The conductor comes along, I ask him please, can he look in his bag and see, are there any really old pennies in there? Could we have them in our change so we could take them home? Where the dates I read opened up something inside my head now. It was the passage of time, the passage of time. I was learning about the passage of time, learning about the passage of time, learning about the passage of time. 1864, that was 90 years ago, they said. Queen Victoria's head was on the other side, but Victoria, she was dead. We've had 3 kings since her reign. It was 1954, we had a brand new queen again. I was 6. So 90 years seemed a long time, but my grandmother was 80 years old. Born when Victoria was the queen. Oh, but no, she never seen her, I was told. But the very next year, when I was 7, Grandma went to meet Queen Victoria in heaven. It was the passage of time, the passage of time. She got caught up in the passage of time, caught up in the passage of time, caught up in the passage of time. Questions when a kid, growing older, shrug your shoulders, then they creep out of the woodwork again. For commoners and queens, the fears and the dreams, they're pretty much the same. Oh, look at us, we're rolling down together on the same bus now. Ask the conductor what he's got in his bag. Is there anything that will show what it's all about? Why are we travelling? What do we really know? Just something for an answer, for an explanation. Has he got a ticket to my destination? It's just the passage of time, the passage of time. Is there nothing but the passage of time? Nothing but the passage of time. Great. Coming forward a few years, I've been involved in churches all my life, but in my 30s, I encountered the charismatic movement, which had lots of good things, but some rather crazy things as well. And this is about the minister of the church I went to for a while, who is a good guy, but he got carried away on things, and I couldn't quite cope with it all. It's called Feast of Fools. It's in drop D, so see me tune. The bells are ringing wild tonight. It is the Feast of Fools. All round the town they're closing down colleges and schools. Despair is heavy on the air for those who've never seen. God sometimes plays his joker, not the king or queen. The little child who leads them all is smiling as he sees the fear upon the faces of the scribes and Pharisees, as they weave their walls of shallow words as logical as ice. His laughter soars so freely, so high above their price. So it's one more chance to join the dance and meet you all once more. You boys and girls who swirl around this dizzy dancing floor. Oh, but I cannot match my steps with yours. My feet are far too slow. For when the band strike up the tune, it's like bats out of heaven you go. Once again, my wide-eyed erstwhile friend. Don't know if you are holy or just halfway round the bend. You talk of peace and freedom, speak about the heavenly dove, but it's turned a cat loose in among the pigeons that I love. Oh, but please don't leave me captive here with the cynics and the cold, the born again who take such pain, swiftly growing old, with the devil in me whispering, I must read between the lines, when your eyes are wide with wonder at these miracles and signs. So it's one more chance to join the dance, meet you all once more. Boys and girls who swirl around this dizzy dancing floor. Oh, but I cannot match my steps with yours. My feet are far too slow. For when the band strikes up the tune, it's like bats out of heaven you go. Whether I should run or simply slam the door, but I can't stay here, this ceiling slipping down to meet the floor. Time like water is running out, I cannot stay inside. Please show me now a place to live that is not a place to hide. Save me from insanity, I've strayed through my own gauze of cast iron comprehension and numerous self-penned laws. Give me grace to find a place where angels fear to tread, for angels are sometimes left behind when fools go on ahead. So it's one more chance to join the dance, meet you all once more. You boys and girls who swirl around this dizzy dancing floor. Oh, but I cannot match my steps are yours, my feet are far too slow. For when the band strike up the tune, it's like bats out of heaven you go. For when the band strike up the tune, it's like bats out of heaven you go. For when the band strike up the tune, it's like bats out of heaven you go. Right. Back up. Another song for a little bit later. In those days, there was a claimed rediscovery that apostles, in a biblical sense, were still around. These were folk who had an itinerant ministry as quite influential figures who travelled around different churches and were supported, often very informally, outside any set-up system, by the churches. And some were good people and some were, well, I'm not sure. But they called themselves apostles. And this is a song just called, vaguely autobiographical, I won't say any more, just simply called The Apostle. I don't think I've sung this in public before, so anyway. The apostle came on Thursdays, and he stood before the flock. The new life in Zion fellowship, we met at 8 o'clock in the schoolroom down on Mountjoy Street for holy words and song. For had not God vouchsafed to us, the time would not be long. Came on Thursdays, and he told us wondrous tales of angels and of demons seen upon his soul's travails. He stood so tall among us, only his eyes could see into our small and mundane lives. He brought authority. Thursdays, and he taught us to despise the hired hands of state religion and all who compromise. The anointing rested on him, none dared argue or object. You could see it in the women's eyes and in the men's respect. Apostle came on Thursdays, oh, but 1 week I was late. I saw the lights on in the hall, his bleak black car parked at the gate. I heard the voices raised in song, my hand was at the door. But suddenly I turned and ran into the night once more. On Thursdays, that's the night I stay at home. I think of places I have been and people I have known, with all their claims and power games. At last it's clear to me, oh, these eyes were blind, but now I find, finally I think Thursdays, and he stood before the flock. Right. We sang lots of new songs in those days, some which have stayed with us. There are some very good ones, and there are others that were maybe less than very good. And sometimes I'd find a song, I'd be trying to worship, trying to get with it, and there just come a line or a statement that I did my head in. I remember we were in a Baptist church in Canada on holiday, and we sang a song which I hadn't heard before. It contained the lines, "O Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary." Oh dear, I couldn't cope. I went to hover like a fairy and sing like a canary. Oh Lord, it's scary being bald, not hairy, but I won't pray to Mary, 'cause I'm a Protestant. That sort of thing. There was another song that stuck with me that contained the line, you may know it, "Make my flesh life melt away." Interesting concept. I always thought of it, I call it the pink puddle song, because if your flesh life melts, you get a pink puddle. Anyway, it became a song. It's got a chorus, a very simple chorus you might like to join in, which is drip, 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 till we're just pink puddles on the floor. I have a soul, my soul aspires to worship with the heavenly choirs, but I have a body as well, that traps my soul inside a cell. The body's fleshly appetites make it toss and turn through sleepless nights. Inside the body the soul will say, "Lord, make this flesh life melt away." Let it go drip, 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 till we're just pink puddles on the floor. Enjoy, I'm sure. We all have souls, our souls are saying, "Free us from the fat, flabby, aging and decaying. It'd be so much easier to be ethereal, bright, shiny, hovering, immaterial. Now we know soul and body will one day separate, but that's all a bit sudden, it's all a bit late. There'd be much less pain if we all could see those flesh lives liquefy gradually. And let them go drip, 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 till they're just pink puddles on the floor. May it happen now, just as we have prayed, may they drip onto the floor, flow down the drain, then we'll all be exempt of the things that tempt and free from every stain. Let it happen now, just as we are singing, all mortal encumbrance away we're flinging, then we'll all mount up like angels winging. This is heaven and we know the way in. Let it happen now to we who are believing that at this very moment we are all receiving the answer to the problem that did Adam and Eve in. This is what we say. Spiritual is good, we celebrate it. Flesh is loathsome, how we hate it. Wonder why God did create it. We'll ask him someday. Till then we'll all go drip, 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 drip. Right, one more to finish with, a bit more on even keel. And again, this is a bit of a, I suppose, a spiritual autobiography. As you probably know, I come from a fairly high background, so that is the paramilitary religious uniformed organisation referred to in the song, hopefully in a kindly manner. It's called Lift Me Up, and again, it's about people who want to push you into, totally out of this world, a bridge too far heavenly experiences. sometimes think how it would have felt had I been around when you walked this earth, following you through dusty Galilean villages, listening from the edge of the crowd. When it came to the time you had to walk alone, yes, I'd have run away with the rest of your friends. Would I have got the chance to meet you in the sequel and stood there wide-eyed? What's the words? Some of the people you had around you in those days makes me queer your choice in humanity. But it's not that much different 2,000 years on. Just take a look around at the societies and the clubs and the organisations, all claiming you as their founder member, saying they can guarantee me an audience if I pay my subscription or go on a course. But I just say, lift me up a little lower than the ceiling. They say there's angels up above, over this far suits me fine. It's high enough to take my bearings on the situation, to see the endless love that's in your heart and the hunger that is here in mine. Born into a paramilitary, religious, uniformed organisation. It was founded in the 19th century and still there 50-odd years into the next, offering the world soup and salvation, doing away with alcohol, tobacco and sin. The world in turn looked on and condescended to smile and drop a coin in the tin. With his drum led the marching band over the bright horizon into glory land. Staring at the skyline, I could still see the glow. Guess I recognized you even then. Good people wearing such strange clothes. If you're up there now looking down on me, sorry if I disappointed you by not bearing those particular colours. But I just say, lift me up a little lower than the ceiling. They say there's angels up above, over this far suits me fine. It's high enough to take my bearings on the situation, to see the endless love that's in your heart and the hunger that is here in mine. Well, I've been around this thing they call the church. I've seen it all run to extremes. The high camp theatre, the bells and the smells, then the low, the prosaic of the play. The fundamentalists who have no fun at all. The liberals who only believe in belief. The glazed eyes of the holy rollers. The living death of the comfort zone. What about you? What do you say? What do you think of the show so far? You got the Spanish Inquisition, was it just across the line? It's Mother Teresa you're really calling. Don't ask me to work the whole thing out. I've not got that circuitry inside my skull. All I know is I still want to follow you. And I feel 2,000 light years behind. But I still say, up a little lower than the ceiling. They say there's angels up above, over this far suits me fine. It's high above to take my bearings on the situation, to see the endless love that's in your heart and the hunger that is here in mine. I'm still hungry, still thirsty, and like Bono says, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And I wonder, yes I wonder, have you? Good night. More next week, and next week on the theme of rabbits. Good night.